there's so many different kinds of
Holy
mind
smokes,
control,
it's
right?
Misco.
One of the things we've talked about a lot on this podcast is that an enormous percentage of what you're seeing on social media in terms of interaction debate is not real. It's not organic. It's state-run, state-funded, and it's whether it's foreign governments or our government or even corporations, you're getting inorganic discourse that's designed to form a narrative, and which is a form of mind control.
Yeah. I mean, I think even at a basic level, people, it's known and studies have shown that we respond as if it were organic and real. And, you know, even when somebody likes a post of yours, the response is the same as like in-person interaction. So
why this video kind of appealed to me was in my introduction to X, which has been relatively, even though I've been on it for 3 years, I haven't really been on it since it kind of switched to X. And it made me realize what a Plato's wall social media has become. And if you don't know what Plato's wall is, the allegory of the cave, basically like a Plato philosophizing about how we view our reality and how it's all just fake. And like how bizarre that he wrote that centuries ago, like a millennia ago, like 2,000 years ago. And it plays out into a perfect, like everyone has their own little Plato's wall that they just scroll. And that information that they get is the only information they know. And all you got to do is talk to, like, in my case, the boomers, you know, like their Plato's wall is still the TV. Right. So they'll just sit there and watch CBC, which is publicly, we all know it's $1.2 billion is paid to the CBC for them to just run political propaganda of whatever party's funding them the money. So the fact that it's so prudent now than it's ever been. It makes me think I got to get off of X because I do spend a lot of time on it because it has a very addictive algorithm. It shows me a little bit of what I want, a little bit of what I don't want, a little bit that I didn't know I even wanted to see.
I think at the root there's a kind of way that on an emotional level, it's not just manipulation of ideas, but there's a kind of emotional engineering that's built into.
Holy smokes, Misco. Wife getting liver transplant this morning. All the best. We'll get the community to send all the prayers and love out there to your wife this morning. Thanks for the 5 memberships. What a day. All right. Did I see that you're going to be in Las Vegas, Misco?
Platforms, and doesn't even demand, at first, government involvement. DARPA was involved in the development of the internet and of things like pattern recognition, but I mean, the government has funded many studies, but really with what I got interested in social media and why mind control is that it operates.
Is something wrong with the audio? I got Digital Citizen saying audio is terrible. Let me know.
It creates states of emotional contagion that aren't really about convincing people of a different way to think, but more about how you feel about what you think, which is something people describe in cults too. It's not that it changed my thoughts, it's that it changed.
Interesting. Digital Citizen, no idea what she's saying. So the first was audio is terrible. The second one was no idea what she's saying. And the only reason I find that funny is because I had this exact conversation with the DJ yesterday at the Jets game, which we played. I know this is very just disjointed, but the price is the same as yesterday and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, because we were dealing with sound issues there because their sound broke. This massive building, and the sound broke. It hasn't been fixed like in 3 weeks. So they have this sound guy going around, and I told them, I go, can you walk around when we play and make sure the speakers are working? Because once we're playing, we can't walk around. He's like, oh yeah, for sure. Of course he didn't, right? And why this pertains to digital, can't remember what the name was, and audio is shitty, doesn't know what they're saying, is that when people, normies, hear bad sound, they don't hear bad sound. They just think the band sucks. Right? It doesn't matter what we're doing. People hear bad sound and think that sucks. Anyway.
My feelings about my thoughts. There's a famous Facebook experiment I read about that took place in 2012 and was published in 2014, where they...
Holy smokes, Misko, you're retired as well. A lot's changed since the last time we saw Misko. Holy smokes, congratulations.
Announced that they've achieved mass emotional contagion at scale.
Is this video low? It's low in my ears, but I don't know.
Which showed that people exposed to it when they altered, so they took 700,000 users or 693,000, I think, without...
Now, what she's talking about here is that they did an experiment around 2012. Now, if you think about 2012, we do need a stage manager, Jen Friesen. 2012 is when, if you think back, that's when things really took off. And I know that because I went from like being in a relationship to being single. And the difference between pre and post was night and day. It was like I almost wandered into a new social media life. That was right around 2012 when they were amping this all up.
Informing them, but because your user agreement does agree, make it, whenever you go on the platform, you agree to be tested or A/B testing. So this experiment exposed a group to their news feed was altered in a negative direction.
This whole agree reminds me of it. Like, I haven't seen many South Parks, but one of the funniest one, besides the agnostic one, was what do you mean you didn't read it? You just agreed to the terms and without reading it? And of course, no one reads it. And to this day, I still don't read it. It's like scroll, 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 accept, yes. Who the hell reads that, right? But it's a hilarious one.
Emotionally, as measured by word counting software. And they discovered that group that had a negative exposure also responded in a more negative way, as judged through their posts and likes and responses. The group that was exposed to a more positive news feed by altering the algorithm then had also a measurably statistically significant effect of more positive emotional response.
So you think about this emotional response, what just happened in Canada with the Carney election. Basically, they convinced the boomers that a vote for Carney is a vote against Trump. So you could retroactively, get your dig in on the anti-Trump, because you wouldn't believe how much anti-Trump derangement syndrome is here in Canada. It's crazy. It's peak TDS here. Like, you wouldn't believe. When I'm in the squash club listening to the old guys talk, you would think that he was the most insane tyrant that anyone's ever heard, everyone's ever saw. It's so crazy. I basically keep my mouth shut. It's a bizarre reality now.
The control group was unaltered.
Changed since Monday. We talked about this yesterday, how the 1,000, or what was it? Let's just say we were at 104 and we went down to 101. So a $3,000 move. If we look at it in a percentage wise, it's a 3% move. Now, when we're up at these levels, 3% is nothing, which is weird. Because you got to factor in that, remember, it's a $3,000 move, but it's a 3% move up in these levels. We're high in the price, right? But just remember back in, when the price was in the 30s, in the 40s, and the 50s even. A $3,000 move was, you would see thumbnails with like, Bitcoin explodes. Bitcoin, like it was so crazy, that type of move, a $3,000 move. Well, think about it. In the 30s, it's a 10% move. So can you imagine? We went from a 3% or $3,000 move being basically the headlines of every thumbnail you've ever seen all day long, to literally nobody caring that it moved $3,000. And it says a lot, because one of my favorite YouTube video, like, I don't watch him all the time, but Ben Cowan, he's you probably know him. We all know who Ben Cowan is here. Anyway, he'll do this social media metric every now and then. It's like, so he basically aggregates all the YouTube channels, the bigger ones, you know, not ones like this, but the bigger ones with the millions of subscribers, and he will show what the sentiment is according to views, subscribers, comments, likes. Even it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. And he says, like, the last one I saw, which was a couple weeks ago, was the graph is right down to a bear market. So even though we're up at 103K, the social sentiment across YouTube and Twitter, he doesn't do Instagram or TikTok. And is there, you guys tell me, I'm not on TikTok. Is there like a big community on TikTok for Bitcoin? Because I heard at one point they were basically, you know, banning it or something, or shadow banning. You know, everyone's shadow banning. So I just kind of quit it because I don't need another slow social media feed for this channel. So I just stopped doing it. But let me know if you guys have seen, like, is there big Bitcoin channels out there on TikTok? Anyway, he doesn't include it. Maybe that's indicator right there. But he says that the social sentiment and the subscribers and the comments and the likes and the growth of all these massive channels are down at a bear market level, which is red and a green flag for me. So here's the red flag. We'll save the good news for later. The red flag is that the narrative that retail is gone, I think, is a strong one. And when I mean retail, I mean new retail. I would consider ourselves, you know, old retail, so to speak. We've been here long enough that we're not going anywhere. You know, there may be slight lifestyle chips taken off people's Bitcoin stacks here or there. But most people, if you're like me, I view everything from 4 years from now. So, like, let's just say one was to sell $100 worth of Bitcoin. To me, what hurts about that is that I know what $100 of Bitcoin is going to be worth in 4 years, 8 years, 12 years. So I'm kind of stuck in my own Bitcoin prison here. So that's why I have a hard time, you know, even fathoming selling any. Because it's like, well, let's say if I sold 100 today for whatever, right, to buy a walkie-talkie, well, that's going to be the most expensive walkie-talkie I ever goddamn bought, right? In 8 years or 12 years. And like, I won't even have the walkie-talkie. But that $100 that would have been the walkie-talkie's price way back in 2025, pre-Agenda 2030, is now like, you know, 1,000, you know, maybe 2,000, depending on how wild this gets. You know, coming back to the supply shock, I find another red flag of mine has been watching walkie-talkie will be obsolete, almost as scarce as that British they them's teeth. When I say she's probably going to go down, as she'll never live that down. Like, and I think her editor should take the blame for that, because obviously no one on that team. I'm referring to that video we kind of watched yesterday on my channel. We didn't get there to that one part where she says, "My teeth are scarce. I don't know why they're not worth as much money as Bitcoin," something like that. You know, yeah, it's pretty. I'm actually more impressed about my British accent that just came out of nowhere, because usually it goes right into East Indian or something like that. When I mean East Indian, in Canada, we call people from India East Indians. I know in America, they're just strictly Indians or something like that. Anyway, with retail leaving, the supply shock can't get a boost. So traditionally, retail would come in, ape in all the normies. Oh my God, I got to put $1,000 and I got to be 10,000. You know, I got to convert this to that, convert this to that. And then that's what would pump whatever supply shock we were witnessing. And with 2.4 million Bitcoins on the exchange, and maybe Grok's math was wrong, but I did this on Grok. was like, how much would it cost, all things being equal, if you could OTC, over the counter, Bitcoin with 2.4 million? And it's something like, and this is what Grok said. And I'm a little hesitant on Grok's math. It's like Grok doesn't know num-nums as much as we think it knows num-nums. And it's something like $250 to $350 billion to buy up the remaining exchange Bitcoin. Now, doesn't that seem a little low? $250 billion, like 4 years ago, $250 billion would be like Fantasyland money. It's like, oh my God, I can't. It's $250 billion. That's something out of a space age movie, science fiction. But now, it seems to me like if it was that attainable, some dipshit country would just print a bunch of money and buy it, and be done with it. But I don't know. If anyone is on Grok, let me know if that money, ask him the same question and see if it comes out. So the question I asked was, if there's 2.4 million Bitcoins left on the exchange, all things being equal, and they bought over the counter at a fixed price, how much would it cost to buy the remaining 2.4 million? And it came up with something like $250 billion, which in this day and age, she don't really, it's not what she used to be. Anyway, back to the red light, green light of this social sentiment. So the red light is that the normies are gone, right? And maybe they'll never come back because a calculator says 240 billion. Thank you, E-money. Yeah. Is that, doesn't seem like a lot, seeing as though we've seen that 10% of it really come in here maybe on a weekly basis. A couple of weeks ago, you say all those companies aping in with $1 billion here, 2.4 billion here, 700 million here. It all adds up. Red light, green light. I'll stay on task here. It's Friday. I had too much coffee, maybe. So the red light is we've lost retail joie de vivre, so to speak, and excitement and potentially FOMO because of the law of large numbers, which I totally understand. People can't part with any money because let's just spell it. If I was a hardcore normie, I would say this: I got $10,000 to invest. Now, bearing in mind, a hardcore normie will be seduced by only coins on his journey to understanding Bitcoin, just like everyone else. Everyone has to subscribe to an only coins channel before they become, not a Bitcoin maxi, but fully understand what Bitcoin is. And so $10,000. So you're telling me like you guys are all hoping for 200K here, like a doubling. So if I put 10, I only make 20, which is insane to even like scoff at. People are upset that they're only going to make double their money. Whereas if they were put it into arguably one of the biggest hedge funds in Manitoba, they would be lucky to get 17% on it, on 10,000. So here they are saying poo-pooing the Bitcoin doubling. Oh, really? That's all I get? Misco, 2.49 billion from Grok. Yeah. So doesn't seem that much. But anyway, they get seduced by only coins. And they think, well, I could put $10,000 into this sapphire stripper here, only coin, and maybe it'll 10x. So I'll go from 10,000 to 100,000. That's something I might be interested in. I'm not interested in a doubling. That's not enough, which to a certain degree we all understand. Yeah, I get it. But man, they're going to put that 10K into an only coin and probably lose it. The odds of them getting a 10x are very rare, especially because they're normies, so they're not really on the inside, and it's mostly insiders that get that exponential parabolic. Like 2021, most of the insiders were crypto influencers, like people on YouTube, because they would get paid to shill the coin, and part of their payment was early amount of exposure to it. And that's what kind of made a lot of these early Bitcoin or crypto YouTubers. Now, that's not really happening this bull run, so to speak. You see it. I mean, when you see a YouTuber say, "Hey, join me. I'm going to look over this coin. I think it can 10x, but make sure you click this link if you buy it. You know they're just shilling that coin, and there's no shame in it. Nobody ever apologizes for shilling these things. They just do it. That's right, Misco, a pre-sale of free crypto to pump coins. Yeah, and they got filthy rich. A lot of them got filthy rich off of them, and great, good for them. I mean, you got to get that bag, I guess. If it's off the backs of your subscribers, whatever. So here's the green light. That's why I don't do it. There's the green light. It's a representation of how early we are that the social sentiment is so low. Like what is the, let's take a look at that. I lost it. I used to have that. Anyway, the crypto fear and greed is at 71. It's basically been 70 all week long. 70, 71, 73, 70, 69, 70, 71. It isn't a state of greed, but it's more in a state of meh. It's market meh. Bitcoin dominance, 61.9%, 24-hour volume, 130K, and the overall market cap, 3.33 trillion. Give or take $100 million. Yeah, so that's why we don't see anything going. So the green light on that, my headphones going out. The green light on that is that one may argue that we are still at the bottom of the bull run mania. Now, the caveat to that is that maybe the FOMO we've seen has been institutional and not retail, which makes sense. Anyone here kind of understands that. There's no one talking. There's no one, hey, Misco, how do I do this? Hey, Money, how do I do this? Hey, Carl, how do I do this? How do I get Bitcoin? How do I buy this? That seemed to have disappeared. And it's more like a retail awe, and maybe I'll add shucks. It's like, yeah, Bitcoin's at 103. Holy shit, I missed it. Right? They go from awe to I missed it, which is fine. Now, I guess my follow-up question would be, as the price gets higher and higher, does the law of large numbers disappear from the retail normie? Like, if they feel the price has got away on them at 100K, is 200K going to be twice as much as getting away on them? Or do they, have a paradigm shift at that point and go, man, I should have got it 100. I would have doubled it, which is not that great, but I still would have doubled it. That only coin, Sapphire, Diamond, or whatever, rugged as soon as I put the 10K. So, only coins. Look at this respect on the ding dong of this level, 104.2, all the way back to, we don't spend so if we, Carl Elder, I said that at the beginning of the bull run, no one seemed to believe me. Retail won't be in until the world's markets get better and inflation is down and they get disposable income back to invest. Yes, I agree. Like, one of the big factors is that ain't nobody got no more money left, right? And people aren't as liquid as they are. That's for sure. I mean, some are, but most aren't. Chadwick, I missed it. Like, they took all the steps, finding the exchange, getting the wallet set up, and we're just waiting to buy at the perfect time. Misco, there's been some pictures on our Discord for you of Kyle's ass. I know I didn't know it was a big thing, but apparently they added you on it. So I don't know if you've taken a look at it so far. So yeah, look at this respect. Misco, are you in the Discord? I can't remember. Let's see how many days we spent candle closed, not wicks, candle closed. 1, Chris Forte. That seems low, doesn't it? Is that effect low for you guys? Try it again. A little louder. Chris Forte with a $10 super chat. Happy Friday, PMB. Have you joined the Discord to see Kyle in white jeans. Oh, I guess I'm a little used to it. He always wears white jeans. Yeah, Kyle's a white jean guy. Anyone that kind of knows Kyle from now knows that he's. Thank you for the super chat, Chris Forte. Everybody knows that he's a white jean guy. I couldn't wear white jeans. First of all, I'd get them dirty so fast, coffee stains, right? And with white jeans, like bloop, over. I have that Adidas jacket that I bought that I didn't know was like apparently a scarce Adidas jacket. It's that kind of mustardy one. Someone asked me, where the hell did you get that? I'm like, I got it in Montreal a long time ago. Like that, that's a collector's item. Okay, whatever. But what do I do the first day? Coffee stain. That dang coffee, it's hard to get out. That black gold. Back to what we're talking about here, for Christ's sake. E-Money, I heard yesterday the highest Wookiee close was 105K. Is that true? I don't think so. We'll get to that in 1 second, E-Money, because I believe we are on pace to close it now at 104.2, but we'll get to the exact number here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that's not true because that's candle closing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So think about that. 8 days above this level of resistance. Well, let's call it 9. We candle closed right here too. So 9 days above this candle, this resistance level, channel of eternal monotony. Chadwick, I have a deathly fear of both needles and white jeans. Saw my sister's vein explode when she was getting her blood drawn. Stained her white jeans. That would be rather traumatizing. TRD Farmer, my boy dripped a massive ketchup blob on his brand new white hoodie last night. I got a mustard drip. It's unavoidable. Yeah, well, those are those massive hot dogs, right? Those foot-long hot dogs people are eating. I can only imagine they're probably $20, something like that. TRD Farmer, next time the boys watching the stream in the morning, let me know, and I'll get if he likes to see Duke, I'll get Duke down here to sing a song for other kids watching, obviously. Anyway, let's go to that for E-Money, the weekly chart. Let's see here. The highest weekly close was 104.4. 104.4 is the highest weekly close in Bitcoin's history. So 104, arguably, let's just call it 105 would be where we would want to close this candle. Otherwise, I would expect maybe, because we've had 5 in a row, that's 5 green weekly candles. That's hella bullish. There's no denying how bullish that is. So to have a couple weeks of pullbacks, maybe into June, wouldn't be the craziest. I'm just not hoping for it. I don't think it would be good. Even though it's like in Fortnite, the storm, that kind of closes in. I know this because Duke plays Fortnite. That storm is kind of like the summer bummer. It's like we know historically the summer bummer is coming, where price action doesn't do anything during the summer bummer. And, one might say this week has been a summer bummer because we've stayed at this price. Now, hey, I'd rather stay at this price than go down. So there's good news and bad news. So this is the weekly chart. Bullish, delusionally bullish would be 105. Well, that's just mildly bullish, 105. Delusionally bullish would be breaking out of this channel of ascension, which is also a bull flag. So breaking out of the bull flag would be a massive indicator to the market that we are moving on to the next leg. And that would happen at about 110, which is, $500 or, let's call it $1,000 above our all-time high of 109.3, 700 actually. So that would be delusionally bullish. Now, that would be the weekly close, highest weekly close ever. As far as we are for the monthly close, we are on track. Right now, we are, in a candle. If we were to close at 103.5, down from our highest weekly close, we would close. This is in, May 31st or May 30th. I don't know how many days has May. But we would have the highest candle close on a monthly chart, which is also hella bullish. So there's a bunch of bullish undertones as far as market metrics go. closing this monthly candle above. Let's get this bigger so we can all see. Right there, 102.5. So closing May above 102.5 would be the highest monthly candle close. Now, as we get out in these charts and they're bigger, longer time frames, they become more important. Like a close on the monthly is way more important than any type of close on the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart is just a noisy little so-and-so. If you don't believe me on what a noisy little so-and-so, let's take a look at it. This is what it's been doing. Up, down, hey, up, down. Oh, hey, we're breaking out. Hey, we're retesting. Hey, really nothing has happened at all. Tonight, we have the world's greatest, biggest live piano dueling stream in the world at 9:30. If you have nothing better to do on a Friday night, your favorite sports team isn't playing, or maybe it is, you have it in the old background. Tune in, throw down a request. We'd be happy to play it. If we know it, we're happy to play it. Otherwise, have yourself a beautiful day.
Make sure you like and subscribe and share this video.